All right. Well, great to have everyone today. We are going to get started and we're recording today's session. So in case you're hopping on a few minutes late, don't worry, you won't miss anything. So welcome everyone. My name is Martha Snow and I'm the Director of Community Design at the Urban Design Forum. Really grateful to have you here today for our information session. This is an information session for prospective neighborhood partners to join our next round of local center projects. So we're really excited to share with you the opportunity and the resources that we have to share as part of this program to see if it might be a good fit for your work. So I am going to start by sharing a few slides with information about the call and about the program, and then we will open it up for questions. So we ask folks to primarily use the Q&A box as part of this webinar. So welcome you to submit questions throughout my presentation. We'll then move into answering as many questions as we can. I will say we may not have every single answer today, but happy to follow up with folks individually, and we'll be posting a recording of today's session along with a frequently asked questions page on our website in the coming days. And really welcome folks to freely ask any questions you may have, and we'll do our best to answer them today. All right. So first, I just want to share a little bit about who we are. So if folks aren't familiar, the Urban Design Forum is a membership organization of over 750 professionals in the fields of design, planning, engineering, advocacy, and more. And through our programs, we mobilize designers and policymakers to confront the defining issues in the built environment, grounded in the belief that designers should be building with and not for historically disenfranchised communities. And we're really excited to be partnering with the Association for Neighborhood and Housing Development on this initiative. They're our wonderful partners. And if you're not familiar with ANHD, ANHD's mission is to build community power to win affordable housing and thriving, equitable neighborhoods for all New Yorkers. So our two organizations have come together to support new collaborations between designers and community development leaders to realize community-driven visions for public space in New York. And for this program, we're really thrilled to collaborate with partners at the New York City Department of Small Business Services, New York City Department of Transportation, the Office of the Chief Public Realm Officer, and the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Housing, Economic Development, and Workforce on these projects to advance a more vibrant and equitable public realm. That's a little bit about who we are. Our collaboration is coming together through this initiative, which we call the Local Center. And our mission with the Local Center is to connect neighborhood leaders, designers, and government agencies to transform public spaces across New York City. So now coming to you, as prospective neighborhood partners, our vision in this work is to support your neighborhood in envisioning the future of your public spaces. And I want to talk a little bit about why we're really excited to be supporting commercial corridors as part of this work and these next round of projects as public spaces in particular. I'm sure many of you are really on board with this. You work really closely with commercial corridors already, but we really understand and see commercial corridors as essential spines in New York City neighborhoods that serve as economic engines and bring together neighborhoods to support community cohesion. And really see the opportunity to be supporting building thriving commercial corridors that reflect the unique culture and values of each neighborhood. I also want to talk a little bit about public space visioning and activation, and we'll get to this more, but this really is the core of what we're offering as part of this work and what we're offering to our prospective neighborhood partners as you're thinking about the future of your spaces. So first I want to talk a little bit about public space visioning. And I think part of why we see visioning is really necessary here is that visioning is a necessary tool to help establish common goals for the future of neighborhoods, to build community cohesion and buy-in, and really an opportunity to give your community a say in how their public spaces can best serve them. So that's some of the kind of why we see visioning as important. The activation piece, and we'll get more to this later, to what this looks like for your possible projects, but we really see activation as a chance to demonstrate that vision, right? To help people feel, see, touch what might be possible in their public spaces, and also to make the case to the city for further investment. So we'll get to that more later, but since that really is the kind of core of what we're up to in this program, I wanted to share that at the top. So a little bit about how we work at the local center. So we partner with neighborhood organizations, that would be you all, to provide funds, technical assistance, and capacity building. In this diagram, that you would be the neighborhood partners. We then recruit design, planning, engineering, and legal technical assistance teams to provide low bono support. So that's who the project team is here. We also work closely with city agencies, as I mentioned, our partnerships with SBS, DOT, and others, to support the work, to navigate the types of kind of permitting, legal questions, to make some of these public space projects possible, and to think about kind of the longer term possibilities for your public spaces. And then finally, Urban Design Forum and ANHD, we act as the facilitators and the connectors. So we support capacity building, we support cross-project learning. As you can see, this circle really represents an ecosystem of folks that are learning from each other that you would be joining. We also support our partners and our teams in thinking about longer-term advocacy and planning for these projects. So that's really our role here. So I want to talk a little bit about what we're able to offer as part of this program. So as I mentioned at the top, the kind of key, the core of this program that we're excited to offer to small bids is support in public space vision planning and installations and activations. But we're also really excited to support that work through technical assistance, funding, connections, capacity building, and a learning community. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each of those elements in a little bit more detail. So first, as I mentioned, the public space vision planning, a real core element of this work. So we'll support each of our neighborhood partners in developing an ambitious but achievable vision plan for your neighborhood's public spaces. And that really, we want to support you in developing that vision plan that comes from your community. So engaging community members, merchants, community-based organizations. We want to kind of hear about your vision for engaging the folks that you would want to really reflect and build a vision for your public spaces. Up next, public space installations. So I mentioned this a little bit before as well, but we're really excited to support each partner to implement two types of activations or installations in public space. And the first is a temporary lighting activation in the spring and summer of 2024. We're excited to hear your ideas for how lighting can support your visions for your public spaces, and do things like draw foot traffic, strengthen neighborhood safety, those types of things. We're also really excited to support each partner in developing additional activations and installations in the summer of 2024 that help demonstrate their vision plans more broadly. So those could look like, I'll share a little bit more later about what those could look like, but we do really see both of those as key opportunities as part of this program. So we're also able to offer technical assistance. So this is a really wonderful component, and part of the strength of Urban Design Forum is our big, beautiful network of civically minded designers, planners, community engagers, lighting designers, legal experts, folks that are really thinking about the built environment. And so we'll assemble a dedicated low bono technical assistance team that will support each neighborhood partner. We are also able to offer funding as part of this initiative. So we'll provide each partner with up to $175,000 over the course of 12 months. And that this can help support both building your internal capacity. So whether that includes, bringing on additional staff support or supporting your own individual capacity to do this type of work. That funding pot will also support funding the low bono technical assistance team and their fees. And then an implementation budget to realize the vision plan, the public space projects, installations, and programming that I mentioned earlier. We're also able to offer capacity building. So we really see this wraparound support as being essential to supporting you and doing the work you want to do in the world. So we're excited to be offering trainings and tailored support in project development, organizational growth, fundraising, and project sustainability and advocacy as you're thinking about the future of your public spaces. We can also offer connections and a learning community. So we're excited to support with connections to city agencies to help navigate permitting and approvals. And we also organize a robust learning community, both with peer organizations, but also with the cohort of organizations that are participating directly in the local center initiative. And these sessions are really an opportunity to learn from each other, to learn from other peers that are thinking about this work, to workshop ideas together, and to build relationships in community. All right, so I know I mentioned a little bit about, what could these activations and installations look like? This is by no means not an exhaustive list, but I did want to just give a little bit of texture and feel to the types of things that you might be able to do as part of this program. So first up, things like lighting installations that celebrate your neighborhood's main street. You could think about envisioning and activating a market that celebrates local food traditions or art installations to enliven gathering spaces. You could also think about open street activations to drive local foot traffic to local small businesses, wayfinding or place-based signage to tell local histories, improved seating in your plaza, creative approaches to managing waste, or environmental improvements such as flexible shading structures, tree pit enhancements, and more. And I do want to recognize that while it may not be possible to do every single one of these things on the list in this project scope, that our hope is really to help you kind of demonstrate your key priorities and your community's key priorities for your public space, and are excited to work with you to determine kind of what feels both unique and relevant to your neighborhood. I know public space can mean a lot of things to different people, so I just wanted to give some examples of the types of spaces that we could offer support in. And that includes streets, parking lanes and sidewalks, parks, plazas, rooftops, tree pits and rain gardens, light poles, street signs, bike lanes, bus stops, other transportation infrastructure, and vacant storefronts. So, really the space where your community and your neighbors are coming together in public is really where we want to support you in thinking about the future of those spaces. I want to talk a little bit about the types of technical assistance available. And again, the technical assistance team that we're able to assemble for you all is really there to support you in creating a robust plan and process for creating your vision plan, and then helping you to actualize your activations and installations. I want to just offer some of the ways that the team can support you in doing that. And they could include doing things like producing creative community engagement materials like surveys, maps, or interactive objects to support that visioning process with you. Facilitating vision planning, including workshops and site visits, developing schematic designs, renderings, ways that designers can help to kind of visualize the possibilities of a space for you and your community members. Supporting on navigating permitting and other regulations, as I mentioned. And then, some of the more nitty-gritty of how do you get an activation or an installation up and running. So the design and fabrication of temporary structures and lighting installations. And then also a key piece that we'll be asking of your technical assistance team to support you in advancing this work is producing a synthesized vision plan for public space that you can then use as an advocacy tool to make the case to city agencies, to make the case to funders about your community's vision for the future of your public space. So that's something we'll be making sure our technical assistance teams are producing for you. I do just want to note a little bit about the technical assistance teams. So we are, as we have put out a call to gauge your interest in joining this program, we've also put out a call to our network of designers and planners to gauge their interest in supporting you. So teams are in the process of submitting their interest as well. Their deadline is the same as yours, October 25th. And we want to give our technical assistance teams a chance to express their interest in working with you in particular. So we'll give them a chance to do that. But the reason I mention this is because I just wanted to share that we really want to support our neighborhood partners in having a key role in selecting the design and technical assistance team that you want to work with. So once our neighborhood partners have been selected, we'll actually give you the opportunity to review and rank the submissions of the technical assistance teams, to, pardon me, to interview the teams and to select who you want to work with. We really see this relationship as a really important and valuable piece of this work, and we want to make sure that you feel really excited and ready to be collaborating closely with a team that you feel excited about. So I want to share just a little bit about where we're headed over this next year and some key dates to keep an eye out for. So we're holding our information session right now. I'll be sharing the recording shortly after this. I'll also be publishing a frequently asked questions page in the next week or so with a synthesis of what we discussed today and any additional questions that come in that might be useful for you to understand the program better. As I mentioned, our submission deadline is October 25th. I'll get to the interest form in just a moment so you can hear a little bit more about what we're asking in a submission. Partners will be notified by November 10th. We are convening a selection panel to help us select 3 partners that we'll be able to work with. In December, we'll support interviews, as I mentioned, with design and technical assistance teams, looking towards starting this program formally in January. So we'll have a program orientation on January 26th, and then the program will run for 12 months from January 2024 to December 2024. We really see this work happening in 2 key phases. So the first, from January to June 2024, partners will be working closely with your technical assistance teams to do community engagement, to develop your draft vision plan, and also to develop your initial lighting installation. So lighting installations will need to be completed by June 2024. And we really see those as kind of the first demonstrations of some of the vision plans. For the summer of 2024, we really want to support you in getting feedback on your vision, in doing additional engagement with your community, to build buy-in, to understand any blind spots you might have missed. Looking towards November of the year, where you would finalize your vision plan with your teams, and where you would present them publicly at a public program summit. After that, we would support in helping you think about the kind of advocacy and future planning to help make the case for your vision, and connect you with city agencies to start thinking about longer term ideas for your plan. So I want to talk a little bit about who's eligible to submit for this program. So we're really excited to be welcoming partners who are small business improvement districts. So that means bids with an annual assessment less than or equal to $600,000, or bids who have an annual assessment less than or equal to 1 million and are located in a low to moderate income neighborhood. We're also really excited to be welcoming small bids from all geographies, and we particularly encourage applicants from the Bronx, from Southeast Queens, and Staten Island. We also encourage applications from partners who have historically or who plan to work with small business owners, merchants, or local vendors as part of their work. And I want to say, too, that we can support projects in various stages of development. So whether or not you have, for example, done a commercial district needs assessment that you're ready to take action with, or if you've led some informal engagement, but you're now ready to more formally move into a process to surface and address some of your neighborhood's needs, we really welcome submissions from the range of folks, and are really excited to be hearing your ideas. We unfortunately are not able to work with organizations or groups that are not recognized as bids, or that don't meet the criteria for a small bid, or bids who've received the commercial district lighting grant from the New York City Department of Small Business Services. All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of what we ask of partners. So I mentioned before, kind of all the resources and support we're able to offer as part of this program. We really do see this as a collaboration and recognize that this work is going to take some deep investment from our neighborhood partners too. So we just want to be as, kind of clear about the ways that we see successful collaboration and partnership from the beginning to help you understand if this feels like it's the opportunity that you're ready to take on. So we asked neighborhood partners to designate a staff lead for this partnership. And we ask that the neighborhood partners can really take on these key things as part of this program. First is to help assess community needs and identify priorities for the project. So the partners, you really are the kind of visionary leaders that are helping to guide your technical assistance team. And so assessing community needs and identifying priorities is really essential for this work. We ask that neighborhood partners can connect their design and technical assistance team to community constituents, can provide input and feedback to design teams on an iterative basis, and can commit approximately 10 hours per week to this project, including attending a 1-hour team meeting each week, and can participate actively in regular learning community sessions to support project success. We really see all of these elements as being critical. We recognize a 12-month timeline is a relatively short one for developing, for doing this ambitious work, and want to support you in being successful. So we seek partners who can take on these project responsibilities by the launch of this program in January 2024, and who think that they're able to see those responsibilities through for the duration of the 12-month project period through the end of 2024. All right, so the interest form. So this is the way that you can express your interest in this program. It is a Google form available on our website, and it's fairly straightforward. It consists of 2 key sections. So I just wanted to give you a glimpse into kind of what is available in both of those sections and what we're asking to hear from you. So the first section is really focusing on kind of helping us to understand the background of your neighborhood and your work in your neighborhood. So we have a few key questions around the neighborhood and communities your bid serves, some of the key public spaces in your district. We'd love to hear if your organization has participated in any previous SBS grant programs, such as Avenue NYC or Neighborhood 360. And then if your bid has undertaken any engagement, assessment, or visioning activities for public space to date, we would love to know about that. So that's kind of the first component of the interest form. The second component of the interest form is really around your vision and ideas for the future of your public spaces. So that includes a couple kind of opportunities for you to reflect and think about how you might like to engage business owners, community-based organizations, or community members in public space visioning in your neighborhood. How you kind of see your initial vision for the public realm and any initial ideas you have for transformations that you'd like to explore, recognizing that you don't have to have all that figured out yet. We are looking for a few of your reflections around the greatest challenges your public realm faces, and finally, how a lighting installation might serve your neighborhood, given that that is a key component of this work. All right, so I think that is all I have for today. Our interest forms are due by October 25th at midnight, and I'm really excited to welcome some of your questions. All right, so welcome you, as I mentioned, to put your questions in the Q&A chat. I'm not seeing any in there just yet, so I'm going to give folks a few minutes to think of what questions you may have based on our program so far. All right, I'm going to stop share for now. Welcome folks to ask any questions in the Q&A.
Right. It looks like we've got one question in the chat, Martha,
Yeah.
which is what are the reporting requirements from Lauren?
Sure. Thanks for that, Lauren. I would love to take a moment to make sure that we have all our kind of ducks in a row to answer that question. So would love to respond to that in the frequently asked questions document that we will share shortly after this. But appreciate that question. And in general, our goal with this program is to make reporting as kind of light a lift and least burdensome as possible for you. As we offer kind of our support in helping you to think through how you might want to kind of evaluate and document your project that can help serve your goals and think about the future of your work. So we really want to co-create that with you. But I would love to answer more fully in our FAQs. And I'm happy to share that with you after this.
Great.
Thanks.
And then we've got a couple of questions about the lighting installation component from Alberto and Angie about whether projects must have a lighting component, or is that just a suggestion? And why is the lighting installation a key component of the program?
Yeah, thanks for that, folks. And so we're excited to have lighting be a component of this program. Part of how we're able to resource and support these projects is through the Commercial Districts Lighting Grant funded by the Department of Small Business Services. But we really see the connection between thinking about the future of public space broadly and using lighting as a tool to be able to demonstrate some of your visions for a more safe, lively, vibrant public space. So Angie, to answer your question, we do ask that each project does include a lighting component. And per the requirements of the Commercial District's Lighting Grant, those portions of the project need to be completed by June of 2024. But we're committed to assembling an awesome team, including lighting designers that can help you think that through and can help you move through a process to have installations in place by June. But really encourage you to think creatively about that and see it as an opportunity to do some of the initial demonstration of your vision that might include some lighting. But thanks for those questions.
Great. And then we've got another question in the chat from Alice. Is there flexibility based on idea versus getting city approval?
The flexibility based on idea versus getting city approval. I want to make sure I understand your question. Let me know if I'm interpreting this wrong, but I think I'm interpreting as, are we looking to tailor these projects based on what is already kind of approved by the city? I think part of our goal with this work is really to support you first in engaging with your community and understanding what your neighborhood's priorities are for the future of your public space, to help make the case for ideas that may need a little bit more creativity to help the city understand, to help the city to help move through kind of existing regulations in the city. So we also are able to offer direct connections to DOT and SBS as part of this. And I think they're really committed partners as well in thinking about how this can support innovation in the public realm and innovation in city processes. So would welcome you to think expansively. I think we really want to support you thinking in both what's kind of already possible and available, but what might be possible and available, and how we can actually use these projects to help make the case for more tailored, more kind of unique, community responsive public space possibilities. I hope that answered your question. Please let me know if that wasn't the right track. I'm happy to take another stab at it. But thanks for that, Alice.
Great. And then we've got a related question from Alberto in the chat about DOT's restrictions and regulations on plaza selection and activation. Will this program provide any particularly needed flexibility?
Yeah, thanks for that, Alberto. I may not have the full answer for that now. I think what I can say is that we are really excited to be partnering with DOT closely on thinking about how we can ease some of those restrictive regulations and support you as part of this program in kind of envisioning what you want to do. So I know they're committed to being partners here and to helping helping to navigate some of those regulations. And our hope is to also support you in that as well. But not knowing the kind of particulars around your specific space, I may not be able to answer entirely. But our intention is to work closely with DOT and to work closely with you to support you in establishing the vision and types of installations you want to do.
Great. And then we've got a question from Tiara in the Q&A box about the breakdown of the budget and how money will be dispersed. Is UDF paying the project team directly, and is the bid paying the staff they hire?
Yeah. So we really have the project budgets managed directly by our community partners. So the total of up to $175,000 we give to our community partners and support you in managing that, both in determining if it makes sense to hire staff to support the project, and in providing the low bono honorarium to your design team. So we'll support you in creating that budget, but we do basically turn that over to you to be managing the budget with support and guidance on our end. I hope that helped, Tiara. Thanks for that. Awesome. Other questions? Appreciate them all, and recognize if we're not able to fully answer today, welcome them now, and we're happy to take them back and share back in our frequently asked questions document as well. All right, I'm not seeing any more in the Q&A. I'll give it just one more minute as folks may be thinking about this opportunity, processing if this feels like a exciting opportunity for you and your team. I will say I think we're just really excited to be working with folks. I may or may not have mentioned as part of the slides, but we are able to select 3 small bids to work with as part of this program.
Great. We've got one last question in the chat about whether you're available for one-on-one conversations as follow-up. And maybe I'll tack on to that. Where can people reach you?
Yeah, thanks for that. And thanks, Alberto. I am definitely available to connect one-on-one to support thinking through if this is the right opportunity for you. Let me just pull up my email address to make sure you all can see it, but I can be reached directly at martha@urbandesignforum.org. I'm happy to hop on a 15-20 minute call to talk through what you're thinking about and how this might make the most sense for you. Awesome. All right. I'm seeing one last question from Tiara in the chat, so just want to address that before we close out today. Tiara's asking if the New York City Parks Department is an agency partner. Yeah, great question, Tiara. So Parks is not formally a partner on this program, but I think we're really excited to work closely with sister agencies like Parks, like DCP, like Sanitation, and our robust relationships with DOT, with SBS, and others, I think will really help us make those connections. So based on your project goals, I think we're excited to support you in navigating those relationships and building those connections at Parks or at other agencies that we didn't list as direct partners. Awesome. Thanks for that, Tiara. All right. Well, with that, unless I see any final questions, great. I'm seeing one last question from Alberto in the chat, and want to make sure we address as many as possible. Alberto is asking, can the program support more than one but related projects? I think, let me know if I'm interpreting this right. I'm imagining that you might mean, for example, there might be a kind of goal for a plaza space that you're thinking about. Additionally, maybe some investments or some ideas for commercial corridor as a whole that you'd want to explore. I think the part of what our goal around supporting vision planning in this work is really to help you think about the kind of ecosystem of public spaces in your neighborhood and along your commercial corridor, and how they connect, how they kind of work as an integrated space to support your community and your priorities. So I think my short answer is yes, we would love, especially as part of the vision planning, for all of those spaces to be considered and incorporated. I think we would look to you and to your team to determine your priorities around the demonstration and activation projects, recognizing that you may not have the capacity or funds as part of this initial activation to kind of fully demonstrate or pilot every single component that you would want that you is represented in your vision plan, but that you might pick one or two or three that feel like the highest priority, or that feel like they kind of most fully demonstrate your vision for the whole corridor. Awesome. Yeah. So, and happy to discuss further, Alberto, as well. But the short answer is if it's 3 activations, welcome you to share them all. And then part of our support and part of the design team's support will be to kind of help you think about prioritizing and phasing and things like that. So hopefully the technical assistance team can support you there too. Awesome. All right. With that, I'm going to close us out for today. My email inbox is open. I welcome you to shoot me a note if you want to chat one-on-one about this opportunity. And otherwise, really grateful to you all for joining us today. Thanks so much.